evening, everyone. My name is Rhea, and I am the co-chair of our Empowerment Congress Homelessness Working Group. Thank you so much for joining us this evening on Thursday, April 9th. I am extremely excited for our speakers today. Before we get to that, though, I'd love to ask everybody to share an introduction um, in the chat, or yeah, I think in the chat would be great if you'd like to share your introduction in the chat. Um, that would be wonderful. So, hello, Supervisor.
Good morning.
Good evening. And good night. No, not yet, but
Okay, thank you so much.
thank you. All right. So, before we get started into the rest of today's meeting, I'd like to share a brief recap of our meeting from um, a few weeks ago, which was on March 26th, and that was with Dr. Nicholas from the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health, and he shared a lot of data with us on morbidity and mortality rates for our unhoused fellow Angelinos. Um, and his it was an overview of deaths amongst our fellow Angelinos to our unhoused, and he compared the data between currently unhoused Angelinos and previously and housed Angelinos, and he shared over six various subcategories. We had shared the report in the chat on that day, and we emailed it out as well. And so all of those data were to be able to recap it is way far above my pay grade, but I am very happy that Dr. Nicholas was there to help synthesize it for us. Um, Along with the data that we learned about mortality and morbidity, we know that there are so many other inequities that impact homelessness and our fellow Angelinos who are unhoused. And I'm excited to share later today about the topic we'll be jumping into that also correlates to homelessness. Before we do that, though, I would like to pass it off to and introduce our Empowerment Congress founder and my favorite supervisor, Supervisor MRT.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Good evening to everyone. Delighted that you are all here. Uh, Special shout out to our guests for this evening. My journey in terms of the movement that informs the work of the Jenesse Center and its sister organizations is one of 4 decades in the making. Um, Back to the point in time when we were at the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, when we were doing the work of the Rosa Parks Sexual Assault Crisis Center, where we were beginning to lift the point of violence against women in particular. And uh, the portfolio was carried then by Joan Creer, who became the director of Rosa Parks, and that all through the political journey and public office, the focus on women and the quality of life was very, very critical. And so I think tonight is a very important moment to think about this issue of domestic violence. I have deep and abiding regard for um, Karen Earl and the team at um, Genesee have been. My introduction to Genesee in part was when Davis Ridley Thompson and I were co-hosting of a show on KPFK called Movement LA in the 80s. And one of the featured guests that appeared with some frequency to lift this issue up was one of the uh, leaders and champions of Genesee. And we just think with profound respect for the work and the staying power and the commitment to um, the dignity and worth of all persons, irrespective of uh, gender. We've learned this over the years. The intersectionality that is in before us in terms of domestic violence and homelessness can't be ignored. At one point in time, we were beginning to understand the issue of homelessness as it was picking up a significant amount of steam in Skid Row. A range of articles began to present themselves in terms of the feminization of poverty. And we pay close attention to that. We still pay attention to it because it's not static, it is dynamic, and it's our obligation to continue to learn and understand so that we can be better stewards, better advocates, better servant leaders. With that, Madam Chair, I relinquish uh, my time for the balance and to hear from our guest speakers after you introduce them and with a great degree of regard um, and openness to learning even more tonight. Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Supervisor. Thank you. Um, I don't know that we can talk about Genesee without talking about Miss Karen Earl. So I am very excited to try and do a semblance of justice to your bio this evening. Um, Miss Earl is the CEO of the Genesee Center and has been for quite some time. Prior to that, though, I believe Miss Earl has been making a profound impact in this space, all the way from volunteering at Genesee and other agencies to serving various elected and public officials throughout not only Los Angeles County, but also throughout our state of California, and was it's been very important in supporting with the policy development and certain key legislation points and projects impacting women and children who are survivors of domestic violence or households that have been exposed to violence at a very early age. And so we are so grateful to have pardon me, Dr. Earl for the evening, but Miss Earl join us this evening, as well as Dr. Davis. So, without any further ado, I would like to say one, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Two, thank you for the impact and the work that you all do, because I believe, if I understand correctly, Genesee is the oldest agency, the longest standing history agency serving Los Angeles County and addressing domestic violence and sexual violence and prevention of these inequities. So thank you both so much for joining us, and we turn it over to you.
Wow. The store one of these sandwiches. Yeah.
What was that? Oh, thank you very much. It was beautiful, Ria. So nice to connect with you. And Mark Really Thomas, thank you very, very much. It's such an honor. Um, and thank you for asking us to come. And I know probably one of the few people who remember when Genesee had 7 staff members, and to now, I don't know, maybe close to 100. And what a difference our journey has taken us on to save the world. And we are come to a place where we can implement the vision. You know, it can have ideas like popcorn in your head, but if you don't have brilliant people like Dr. Davis to say, I could do that, I can take it from there, then there's this constant conversation. So I'm so honored that she said yes. And you want to say a few words before we also have Laura someplace, and she is going to help us with the charts.
So, yeah, I am Charmin, Dr. Charmin Davis, and I am the director of the Family Wellness Department here at the Genesee Center. I've been here for 10 years, and a few years more than that. I came as an intern when I first got to Genesee, and so I am over the Family Wellness Department, and that's all the shelter sites, residential program and non-residential program. And I know I'm biased, but I have nothing but great things to say, about the Jenesse Center. And that's why when I finished my internship, I stayed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Are we okay? Cool. All righty. So this we have a lot of charts because we have a lot of information, but we definitely don't plan to spend hours on each chart. So we're honored again to be here at the Empowerment Congress, presenting this to the homeless working group. Okay, you can, Laura. Hello.
It's sharing. I'm not sure if everyone can see it, but it's on the screen.
Yeah. We could like the next chart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it not moving?
No.
Okay.
That's okay. You know what? I have the slides. I have them.
Okay.
Okay.
Just
So
go
I will
ahead.
talk about them as we go. I will read the slides since I have them in this way. So in 1980, domestic violence was referred to as an act of physical violence, coercion, or intimidation within a domestic relationship, often within marriage or cohabitating partners, though the specific definition varied by jurisdiction. And so, Ms. Earl, did you have anything to say about when
Yes,
it
and
first started?
yeah, Jenesse was founded in 1980, and I wasn't here then, but closer to 1990. And the focus was, getting people on the hotline calls or providing shelter for 30 days if they could. But there are and the definition was real limited, physical violence mostly. But as we pursued and studied the issue, we know that that's just the beginning.
Right, right, right. And we know the current definition is a pattern of behaviors in a relationship where one person is trying to take control and maintain power over another. So we know domestic violence in a different way now because of all the studies that we've had and all of the issues that goes with domestic violence, and it's been studied for many years, and we have so much more understanding of domestic violence than we did in 1980. So we have another slide about the five forms of abuse, and it's going to be physical, emotional, psychological, sexual, and financial. And all of these are forms of domestic violence, but it's hard to, sometimes folks will call our hotline and they say, I don't know if this is abuse. Some forms of abuse is hard to see because the person they don't have a black eye or a busted lip. Most forms of abuse start in a pattern, and the physical part is the last of the abuse to start. So financial, controlling money, psychological and emotional abuse, all of those parts of abuse will start before the physical violence comes. And so more than 40,000 women and children have been sheltered and supported since Jenesse was founded. And that is a profound number. 94% of clients reported domestic violence affected their mental health. And we know that domestic violence is the cause for mothers and children is the largest cause known for them to be homeless. Is domestic violence. 73% feared retaliation if they left. We also know that when a victim decides to leave their abusers, that's the most dangerous time for them. That's when most death and most the high levels of abuse occur. And 65% had to relocate to a different living situation. People have had to move out of state, out of the country, or just live in hiding for many years. Oh, and that's the chart.
The next chart paints I call it the journey, but a kind of a rosy picture. Looks like we've always had it going on. but we know we didn't. When I came to Genesee, it was 8803 South Broadway was the office. I'm telling you, it was the raggiest building I've ever seen. But there was something inside, there was hope, there was love, there was caring for people who couldn't care for themselves. And Dr. Marguerite Archie Hudson made me come to Genesee. She said, there's a group of women in South Los Angeles. They have a great idea, but they need some help. And I want you to go over and write proposals for them. And I said, I don't know how to write proposals. She said, you can read, can't you? And she made me think it was so, so easy. It wasn't, but when I went over, I saw something that made me know that this was where I was to be. So these pictures show a journey, but it didn't start like that. And I think probably several of you on the call know that. Next. And this chart gives me an opportunity to talk about what policymakers can do, those who have a caring heart. And I want to talk about, this is our property strategy page. And again, you can have ideas like popcorn. You don't have a place to implement the ideas. You don't have anybody to help you. It's just all for naught. All the wonderful programs that Dr. Davis implements, it's because we have places to do it. And I want to lift up Mark Ridley Thomas and his focus after the O.J. Simpson trial. And then it came a lot of public notice that there were no places for survivors to go. You could be a victim, but what are you going to do? And it was his city council motion that made it possible for funding for shelter programs to purchase new facilities. And that was something completely new, particularly in underserved communities like South Los Angeles. And it made it possible for us to purchase and remodel our Fannie Lou Hamer house. And Dr. Davis talk more about that later. And just to really take our work beyond rhetoric. And now we've grown from that. We have emergency, we have transitional. And I remember writing the proposal for transitional. I said that people would stay for 6 months. But once we got clients in there, we understood some of our clients in our community needed 2 years and a day. And if we're going to be culturally relevant and do what makes sense, we needed to be that place. And we wanted to be a place that did not mirror other programs. We needed to be specific what the Black women and their families in South Los Angeles needed. And that is what we have tried to do all of these, going on 45 years now. Do you want to add anything?
I did want to say that the one thing that we value and we understand about domestic violence is it's not an isolated issue. It's deeply connected to housing issues and mental health issues and economics. It's not isolated. It's very interconnected.
Yeah. And the thing I'm very proud on this chart, it shows that Genesee is now gone from emergency, transitional, and now we have a permanent housing facility. So when people are all through the emergency and transitional, they're ready for the next phase of their life, we can help them there as well. Next.
So we'll talk about the 5 signature programs. I'm going to read this: the family wellness, emergency to transitional housing, counseling, education, and just support in all. So the family wellness department is where the clients will come in. Right, is where that first initial call to the hotline starts, and that's what I was talking about earlier. They call, and sometimes they want to know, is this abuse? So they to be brave enough to make that call is everything. But once they make the call, they're reaching out for help. Through after that call, they will come into, if they choose to come into our emergency shelter, they'll stay there for 30 to 45 days. And I'm talking about family wellness because this is my part, but the other
It's
four,
all your part.
I know. Um, I'll talk about them, but the legal services, family law, immigration relief, restraining orders, DART team. We'll talk more about the legal team in a bit, workforce development. It's employment readiness. They get folks ready to just be employed if they need a GED, if they need job training, if they need to come in and figure out what they want to do, what that talent is, helping with resumes, all of that is in that pot that we mix together because the reality is when these folks get ready to go to permanent housing, they need to be ready and they need to be able to have sustainable lives, whereas they can get into an apartment when they get there and be able to support their families. So workforce development is very important. Permanent housing, they have case management, financial aid, eviction prevention, landlord negotiations. And the eviction prevention is very, very important as well as the rest of it. Sometimes our clients go and they leave and they are working and they are still, participating in their programs, but they feel like they get into a bind sometimes, and they know they can always come back to Jenesse for help. So it's a relief for them. Generation J is the youth program where youth education, prevention, advocacy, and leadership, which this part of the program is so important because if you can teach children how to have healthy relationships, what that looks like, we can prevent them from having to use these first 4 programs when they're older. So that's very, very important. But I think we have another slide where I'll talk about family wellness. Okay, you can go. There we go. Okay, so our family wellness program supports clients in setting goals, accessing vital resources, and building long-term stability for the whole family. Services include case management, which is a very pivotal part. Folks come in and they need to understand what is going to happen. When people come into the shelter and you're already afraid because you don't know if you made the right decision to leave, you left your home, what am I going to do after? So that case manager is going to sit with them and try to make a plan. The advocacy, they're going to advocate for their clients. They're going to set them up for their legal, their mental health, all of the services that we offer, their case manager will connect them to. Domestic violence certificates, they will get that. Some of our clients come in from Department of Children and Family Services. They have to come in. They are mandated to have our classes and our groups. And this is how they get their children back and build their lives. They receive these classes and they are able to show I did the work. Empowerment classes, substance abuse classes, anger management, domestic violence and parenting, all of those are a part. And again, from the time you call that hotline and then you come into our shelter, it's a journey for you. Some people will come in for the 30 to 45 days and they get it together. They have their jobs. They just needed to get away and they needed another plan. We help them do that. They get connected to housing and they're able to find a safe space to move to because they're already ready. And they transition to our non-residential program, which is our drop-in, where they receive the same services, legal, counseling, mental health, case management, everything. But they're just ready to go into their own place. So that's where they do it from the non-residential part. But those who stay, they will have a 2-year journey. They will participate in all 5 signature programs, and they are ready when they get to that 2nd year. And they will be put into permanent housing. They have jobs. And it's a little fear. I was talking to Karen the other day. We had, I called her a little baby bird that was ready to fly. You know, she was ready. She was anxious. She was scared. She was nervous. She was happy. She was everything. But she did it. She got into her place. We helped her with furniture, and she is doing so well. And that's how most of our clients leave, unless they leave to go out of state because they have family elsewhere. Okay, next. Oh, you know what? I'm going to read this. That's on this. This is one more thing. I'm going to read what's on this slide because it's very important. Our staff wrote this not long ago. So 1 year ago, we reopened the doors to Fannie Lou, restoring a sacred space of safety, healing, and empowerment for more than 100 mothers and children. In that time, the space has become more than a shelter. It has become a place where families rebuild their lives with dignity, support, and renewed possibility. Together, we have strengthened the families, restored hope, and reached, I can't even see this, okay, and created pathways towards independence. And we wrote that because the beautiful house, Fannie Lou, that had been renovated, and these are actual pictures of the home and the party we had. We in that year we served over 100 mothers and families, and we had a nice celebration at the end of that. But 100 mothers and families who left here and did well, whether they went to permanent housing or are transitional, they all left here in a good space. Okay, Laura.
I want to just say, the other signature programs are legal. I am a non-lawyer, but I saw all of the issues that women would present with and knew this is more than somebody needs some 3 meals and a bed. So our whole program was designed to meet every single need, to take that woman and her children, and anybody, from crisis to self-sufficiency. And we've mentioned it a couple of times, but that's through legal, workforce development, and permanent housing. And I think we could go to the Family Source Center, Laura, and go through. Yeah, workforce development is so important. It's one of my favorites. They're all my favorites, but helping somebody to get employment is life-changing. In the Family Source Center is the public-facing program that we have that's for the community, that doesn't have anything to do with domestic violence. You could just see the programs that are offered here, and we're excited about that. And it continues to grow. Did you want to add anything to that, Dr. Davis?
Yeah, the Family Source Center, and again, because it's not just specific to domestic violence,
That's
but
right.
mental health issues are an issue in our community. And for folks to be able to come in and get that help, I can say in our community, a lot of times we don't heal because we don't have access to culturally competent mental health services. So this was I think this was such a great resource and a great place to have in this community because it was so needed.
Yeah, very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Generation J. And the whole point of Generation J, and I think Dr. Angela Parker spoke to you all in 2024. Her whole thing is to ensure that the next generation does not need domestic violence shelters, because they've learned to communicate and stand up for themselves and understand what their needs are. And we're very proud of that program. Dr. Davis, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think it's so important to teach, and that's what she does, to teach the youth what a healthy relationship looks like. That is so important. And sometimes, folks don't understand what a healthy relationship looks like because they've never seen it. So they don't understand what their worth is, and what they should and should not expect from any friendships or relationships, any kind. I have witnessed children, adults who have come here with their children. And I've been here for 10 years and I've witnessed someone coming through the door and saying, I was here with my mother. And it's daunting to think of it, but they were here, and that intergenerational trauma is real. It really is. So I think Generation J is so important for many reasons.
Yeah. Next chart.
That would be my wall. So family
Yeah.
wellness, it's the family wellness department. And I tell you, this is a photo on a wall. It's still there, but we are so pleased about the garden that we have back there. And we grow vegetables and actually eat and cook with the vegetables we grow.
Yeah. And you guys will know that sign on the wall. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I believe, and the reason we named the shelter Fannie Lou's, because I believe that's when the women call, is when they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And also wanted to end with this chart because all of the things that we talked about tonight, it begins when someone calls that hotline. And that's when we're able to get to work. So that's our presentation. And thank you so much for honoring us by asking.
Wow. Thank you so much, Miss Earl, Dr. Davis, the whole Laura, the whole Jenesse team. I mean, just all the pillars. It's whole person care and it's treatment, it's prevention. You all have been keeping on for over 45 years. It's so incredible, and honestly, it's inspiring and it brings us some hope. Especially when we think of homelessness, we think about the intersectionality of homelessness and how homelessness is the one inequity that touches upon every other inequity, and the way that you all are able to address not only taking care of the women and children with domestic violence intervention and prevention, but also housing, homelessness, workforce development, intergenerational care for the youth as well. I mean, it's so incredible, and thank you truly for all that you do. And even the hotlines are very important, but can be very difficult to run. And then most recently, the Family Source Center. That's awesome. So all of it is truly incredible. I
Thank
think,
you.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank
And it's
you.
the community that has sustained us,
Mm.
we love you.
Mm.
We
Yes,
love you all too. So,
that's it.
thank you.
Okay.
If it's okay, may we open it for some questions? I'm sure our group has questions, and I know I always have loads of questions. So, does anybody? Candace has a question in the chat. Can I get your information so I can contact you? I have a nonprofit in Lancaster that I have just started for women who are homeless due to domestic violence called Candake Living. We need your help.
Kendake living.
Oh, pardon me. Thank you so much, Candace.
Sure. That's easy.
Okay. Okay. And congratulations on Kandake Living, Candace. Sandy?
Hello, everyone. Hello,
Hi,
Karen.
Sandy.
Hello, Dr. Davis. Thank you so much for that wonderful information. I'm kind of in a situation right now where I'm trying to help someone come inside, meaning um, she's domestic violence. We're working with Path, right? I think they found her a bed, but she also has substance abuse issues, so she's already left.
Hmm.
I just want to know, can you describe what intervention looks like?
Wow.
So do you mean intervention just because for someone that you know is having these issues, or for substance abuse?
Well, she has substance abuse issues. She's also domestic violence, right? She
And
was
and
they were able to place her, but she's already left. That was yesterday, and she's already left.
right, she probably needs to be in a substance abuse center first, a facility first, so she can get help with that. and then she will be able to clearly think about what her next steps will be. But keep our information handy, and hopefully you can get her into a substance abuse center. And even you can call us to get that information as a referral.
Okay, great. That's what I'll do. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
And I will say that Dr. Davis is my secret, I don't say weapon, secret person. When I get texts or emails midnight or whatever, I can always track her down and depend on she's going to make me look good and not be out here lying to folks. So if she says connect, she will
I
do it and
will.
make it happen.
I will. I actually thought of you all, of course, but they actually got found her a bed at, through Pace because she was already going through the process. And I think I would have called you guys first anyway,
Okay.
if I had a choice.
Yeah.
So I will call. Thank you so
Nice to
much.
see you, Sandy.
Mhm.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you so much, Ms. Earl and Dr. Davis, for answering. Miss Russell, Miss Joanne Russell.
Good evening, everyone. And I'm going to put a plug in. Sandy, you should go to Miss Bernita Walker's Domestic Violence Training Program. It is awesome and it answers all those questions for you. I am so glad to hear you ladies' presentation today because, yes, I am a protege of Miss Walker and I've heard so much about Jenesse Center. And I've been certified through her training and I did want to connect with your organization. So what do you look for with community? Because I have a nonprofit and where I work is the nexus of when people enter back in the community and we need to make strong, safe places in the community where they live so that they can continue the great works that they started in your agency. So how does an agency go about connecting with you and what do we need to bring with us to be of help to you and the populations that you serve?
I think it would depend on the organization and what the organization is offering. One of the things that we made a decision about early on that we would bring all the services inside as much as possible, hire the staff to do that. And it's it's an expensive model. Uh, but we wanted that kind of accountability and didn't want the clients to give them bus tokens or figure this out. So we just wanted a comprehensive program in-house. And Dr. Davis can speak on anything that I left out.
Yeah, and then partnerships, you email us, we can have a meeting and talk about what that partnership can look like. How can we help you? How can we benefit one another, and benefit our community? So you can definitely email me, and we can schedule a meeting.
We'll provide all our contact information.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to it.
I just wanted to, Jenesse Center put an email address in the link, but I don't know if that's an I or a W. I mean, an I or an L for something Williams at Jenesse.
Thank you, Candace. I think it was Laura's.
Yeah, that's Laura's.
Is that an L Williams?
It's L.
Thank
Got
you.
it.
L
Thank
Williams.
you. Thank you so much.
And we have the Laura is going to provide Aria the presentation so you could send
Okay,
it to everybody.
great. Thank you so much.
We have a PDF for that.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. I know Wendy has her hand up, but also has a note in the chat. So, Wendy, would you like to, may I highlight your note in the chat and then call on you for your question? Because I think Wendy's note in the chat is also great, and I'd like to ask a question related to it after, but it's why after 45 years, I'm just now learning about Genesee, and I thought I was connected in the Black community as I serve in various community spaces. You shouldn't be a secret. May I introduce you to other spaces? God bless.
May you.
So I'm
Oh
gonna
my
pass it to
God.
Wendy.
Yeah, yeah. Help us, Ria. Help us connect to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're grateful. I don't know. Maybe it's
Oh, I
because,
want to say that that was Wendy's question too. So
oh,
yeah,
I know, but you
yeah,
could get all the information. Um, I
absolutely.
don't know. It's DV traditionally has been something that is not like all public, public, public. But we don't want to be like that. We're hiding from abusers. We want good people to know about our work. We do tours of our facility, not tours, but we want the community to know. We work with men, and we don't look at it as a women's issue. We just women, as I say, in pink hats talking to other pink women in pink hats. It's a community issue that we want to solve. And so I'd love to work with you and share, and everybody's just as wonderful as we are, aren't they?
Wonderful. Thank you. Have you all ever had a DV conference? Has that ever been a concept has that ever, I don't know, I'm not aware. So I'm just asking, has
We've
anything like that ever taken place
Yes, we
before?
have. We have, but it's not something that we do every year. We're in honor of 45 years. We are doing some things, and we'll do something more high profile in October. We used to have this, what we call the Silver Rose Weekend. We call it the Fabulous Weekend. It never ended. And we even honored MRT and family, and we did that a long, long time. But we don't do things like that constantly. Just try to do
Or
what makes sense, weave in and
would
out.
you all be interested? Because I'm
Pardon
the
me?
type of, I said, would you be interested in something like that? Because I'm the type of advocate that when I see something that's working somewhere, I want to know
Mhm.
how I can duplicate that in other places that needs that help. So I'm looking at you all as a model. And
Yeah.
yes, I'm from Antelope Valley. So there is a particular organization out here that exists, but I'm tired of the negative. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if there's help for this particular organization. Um, I'm not saying they're not doing anything good, but I get tired of running into negative comments from people who are reaching out for help. I don't understand
Mhm.
what the barrier is, and even when there's transitions in leadership, you would think, okay, so maybe there's a new leader in town, we can do better. There's something intrinsic going on that's just needs, we need to call the elephant out the room, and I
Mhm.
don't know how to help them address it. They're connected to other community spaces where they're getting funding. We want to see progress. We want people to get help, but at what point do you keep feeding, you know, like you're beating this dead horse that really isn't alive or is not capable maybe of doing the work? I don't know, but I would love to find a way to see if there's hope to revive this organization so that it can be effective like it should be. You get tired of hearing about where's the money going. I
Hmm.
mean,
Or would it be possible for you guys to help another organization up here rise up so that we can step in and do the work that really needs to be done that's being lost?
So
right.
may I interject because I think Wendy and Candace, you raise amazing points about bridge building and collaboration. And I'm going to suggest if all of you would like to continue that conversation after the meeting so you can dive in a little deeper. Ms. Earl, Dr. Davis, does that work for both of you as well?
Absolutely. Does it work
Okay.
for you too, Laura?
Yes.
All
Good.
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. With that, may I ask, how do you balance, with Genesee Center? I've had the privilege of being at various organizations where Genesee actually has a presence, let's say in the workforce development program or a satellite presence through a partnership with some case management, right? How do you, in the space of domestic violence, especially in supporting survivors, balance that piece of confidentiality? Um, and safety for the survivors to prevent any additional abuse or them, being exposed to re-exposed to any abuse or abuser, while also, growing the agency and sharing about the services that you all provide. May we learn about some of the best practices and how you all navigate that? Because it sounds like Genesee navigates it really well from what we understand, but I imagine that's been a process to get here.
Rhea, I want to make a note of the fact that Bishop Smith's hand is up to be acknowledged. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, I'll start. And the confidentiality is number one. We connect with the community, but the safety of the clients, it's paramount. All of our locations are confidential. And that's one thing moving and getting a family source center, which is public facing, has been a real putting challenge because we don't connect that with Genesee at all. So we had to build that program up without it standing on what Genesee Center is about. We are connected. Genesee is back the DART um, provider for all of the law for the police stations and we have all those contracts. So we understand that we need relationships with law enforcement. And Dr. Davis, her world is making sure she keeps our clients safe. And I'll be quiet. You want to share more?
Yeah, and this has been going on for 45 years, and when you do something as long as we've done it, you perfect it, you figure it out. And so we're in the churches, we're in the schools. That's how Generation J is. That's how Dr. Angela Parker is teaching healthy relationships. We found out there was a lot going on inside of churches where people didn't want to come forward. We're in the churches. We are with groups like yourself. We're on the radio. So folks know how to get on our website. They know how to find us. But what we value and what is most important to us is keeping our clients safe. And we definitely don't do anything to jeopardize that safety. So when we are building partnerships in our communities, and we have lots of them, our community has embraced us as we have embraced them, and they keep us safe. And when we do partner, and I'm talking about with DMH, with all of these organizations that we advocate for our clients at these spaces, they understand why confidentiality has to be kept. They understand that. And we are just very, very careful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. One of our Empowerment Congress Leadership Council members is also in our meeting with us. Bishop Byron, I pass it to you. Oh, Bishop, you're muted.
Yes. Thank you, Rhea. Thank you, Dr. Davis and Karen, for the wonderful work that you're doing at Genesee's. There's a couple questions I have. Um, with the wonderful work that you all are doing, coming from a mental health lens, we know that in a crisis mode, the emphasis is to make sure that the mother or the young lady is in a safe space. What type of interventions do you have at Genesee's to work with children who might be experiencing um, um, some type of trauma, along with the parent going through domestic violence, which is called vicarious trauma? What are you doing to handle and work with the children? And then my second question is, how can churches partner with you to help assist with some of the relationship teaching modules around healthy relationships and healthy boundaries, especially when it comes to men? Because again, men, just in LA County alone, has been reported that 5.7% of men report experiences of domestic violence. And do you have any type of services or organizations that you have partnered with that could also assist men who might be going through domestic violence?
Okay, so I will start with the first question. We start with mom because we understand that parenting through trauma is difficult, right?
Hmm.
So we are embracing the whole family so that we can help mom get to a place where she can parent as she truly should. For children, Miss Karen Earl is one of the first things she told me when I came into the organization. She said that everyone in that house was a part of that domestic violence, right?
Right.
The children as well. So we have signature programs for our children as well. We don't leave them behind. And I'm talking about starting from advocating. A child is coming into our shelter and he has left everything, toys and friends and community, and has to start a new school. And I talk about this because it can get difficult for a child when you start a new school and they can't be still and they cannot focus and they cannot do all these things. The
Hmm.
first thing that happens is you refer to the school psychologist to get a diagnosis when you really just needed to sleep and to rest and to have a meal and to feel safe, right? So we're
Hmm.
advocating at every level, at doctor's appointments, at schools. We are doing the kids group, the play therapy. We are teaching them what healthy relationships look like, and we're teaching them that their parents love them. You know, parents have issues between the two of them, but the children have nothing to do with those issues. So we are
Right.
helping the children along with mom.
Excellent.
In terms of the church, and I don't know, Miss Earl may know the name. We partnered with churches around Los Angeles, and they have a name to it. I can't remember. Ms. Donna Durden.
We're
That
church
was
people.
yeah.
We all
So
the
we
church,
had found, you
West
know, we
Angeles.
we found out that so much so many people in the church were having issues and they were afraid to come because people who experience domestic violence are very ashamed of what's going
Right.
on and they didn't want to talk. When we found that out, we definitely partnered with churches, in many churches around Los Angeles County. We meet with them. They get us on the phone when they know they have someone in their church that is dealing with that. So we are definitely in the churches, and we would love to add you to that partnership. In terms of men and the abuse that they experience, we do not discriminate. We believe that anyone experiencing domestic violence, whether it's male or female, deserves to feel safe. So if and lots of shelters, and I'm going to say most, they won't even take a mom with a child over the age of 12. They do
Mm.
not take men in their shelters. We don't leave anyone behind. If you are experiencing domestic violence, we open our doors to anyone, no matter who it is.
Very good. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you for highlighting those important questions, Bishop. Thank you so much, Ms. Earl and Dr. Davis, for sharing about that. How do you, um, with the trauma that can come with experiencing domestic violence, do you ever have to separate populations by gender? How do you navigate that? Especially if, there are men and women seeking services at the agency or maybe at the drop-in. I imagine maybe the housing sites are separate, but drop-ins, etc.
I'll start. So in our shelter, if we have a male client to come in, because we have apartments, they're units. So we don't put a male in an apartment with a female. And when we've never had a problem with a mom who has a son, no matter the age of their child. So we put people strategically in places that make sense. And there's no issues. We've not had any issues with any gender problems amongst them. What was your second question?
I
Dr.
think
Davis,
that
could you tell people how many people on your staff and what they titles and things like that?
Yes, so and Jenesse is one of the only I can say domestic violence organizations that we have, like Ms. Earl said, we wanted everything inside, right? So folks don't have to go catch a bus to go here, a train, a plane. You're right there to get all of your services. So we have two psychologists, including myself. We have two LPCC counselors. We have one marriage and family therapist. And this is all the mental health team. And we also have, through contract, through South Central Training Consortium, we have 15 interns, marriage and family therapy interns. We have, in the family wellness under my staff, I have 20. And so we have case managers, we have client service, and resource specialists. And the case managers, again, when the client comes in from the hotline, they are connected with their case manager. And you mentioned the hotline earlier, which is a very important part. So we have a couple of people who are so amazing on the hotline. And because sometimes folks call the hotline and they just need to talk. Sometimes they need to get out as soon as possible. So they have all different reasons, but our staff is trained for that hotline to understand the needs of the person who's calling. And to the counselors and the psychologists, the case managers, we all work together collectively to help that client to transition to self-sufficiency.
Thank you so much. It's just such whole person care that it's really phenomenal. And I'm sure there are also, as somebody highlighted in the chat, underlying systemic issues that you all work to address. I think Supervisor MRT could probably support me in formulating a question around that way better. So, Supervisor, may I pass it to you as I say thank you to Ms. Earl and Dr. Davis?
I want to echo your sentiments, Rhea, and thanking the Genesee team for the work they have done, the work they are doing, like right now, and the work that they will do well into the future. And it is my hope, my prayer that we will be helpful. Bishop, it seems to me your connection with Genesee on behalf of the Empowerment Congress and moving the ecumenical agenda forward just makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Circle back to me to see how we can do more in that connection. Our primary purpose is to continue to understand the various dynamics that impact the homelessness crisis in Los Angeles. And the data make it abundantly clear that the primary driver for women experiencing homelessness connects directly to domestic violence coupled with evictions. And we understand the long term impacts of domestic violence in terms of trauma. Um, but not so much understanding was brought to bear in terms of the impact of the financial violence, as was made reference to earlier. Um, um, I simply wish to say the long term impacts of that phenomenon is not to be underestimated. Once your credit is wrecked, it's hard to hook things back up again. And these issues conspire um, very sharply on the gender front. A text called Evicted is well worth you all being introduced to and knowing as we continue to understand how homelessness unravels itself in front of our very eyes. Tonight has been enlightening. It's important that we know resources, that we support these resources. I respect the fact that Karen was not at all shy about invoking the language of accountability. I like that. There's no point in pretending to be of service. If you want to be authentic, you have to be accountable because these issues are critically important to the dignity and worth of every man, woman, and child. And Genesee has made its mark. Um, it's helped many people for a long time, and even those who were unaware of it, they've been indirectly benefited. Those who are not talking about it in the churches, the extent to which they've gotten some support from Genesee that wasn't reported to the pastor. The pastor was benefited by the fact that Genesee was doing the work of him that sent us while it is yet day.
That's
And
right.
so I just want to say thank you
Yeah.
for what you do, and count on us to be better educated, better informed, better committed to this work as we seek to understand the hard edge of poverty and the feminization of poverty, better known as homelessness. Madam
Yeah.
Chair.
Talk about a benediction.
Hello.
Right, between Bishop Byron and Supervisor. Thank you
Oh,
so
Lord.
much.
Yeah.
That was
Thank
And I
you.
just want to
excellent.
say is we joke a lot, but I'm just honored to lift up your name as somebody, your
Mm,
leadership, as Lillian Mobley would say, your leadership and guidance.
Mm.
You were the front of us opening the doors for us to get property, and all the lives have come through those doors. We're grateful.
We
Well, I
are.
think this is important to put in context. I'm glad you mentioned it, Karen. It was the O.J. Simpson verdicts,
Yep.
and people think about all the drama, all the celebrity, all the call it what you will that was involved with that. And sometimes the domestic violence aspect of that story is underreported, but that was a significant driver. And it parallels what's happening in the environment in terms of domestic violence being underreported. And this is a really important thing. And John will echo this sentiment. While we were moving this business forward, I'm coming straight at you now. Um, some were saying, "Why are you doing that?" Um, uh, and they were arguing to my face that O.J. Simpson didn't do all that. Do you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, uh, people were uh, some those who are unenlightened, those who are yet to be brought into the marvelous light, did not appreciate the extent to which we had to press forward. Uh, and it had um, an ethnic lens and an ethnic tinge that attached to it. Um, so I won't go into much more detail on that front, but I will say the following that it was important that we did it. And not only was it important, it, it was all of this going on, and it was that little motion significantly increased the number of beds for those who needed shelter. I mean, Los Angeles, premier city in the nation, in the world, lagging significantly in terms of leaning in on the question of domestic violence and shelter beds. It was just completely uh, phenomenal that it had been so severely neglected, much like, may I say it, the issue of sexual assault. In other words, Los Angeles's lab was backed up because there was a lack of allocation of resources to make sure that the rape kits were even done. This city, way behind. And I just want to say here and now, the test of the civility and democracy of any environment is how it treats those who are most vulnerable.
Mhm.
All right, Norman, you need to slow me down. I'm getting a little um, involved beyond my pay grade right now. But I just wanted to make sure,
Oh, you all
that,
right. You all
yeah,
right.
I just thank you so much. The the alumnus from Bishop College has spoken. So I just think we should not underestimate, overlook, or trivialize the issue of gender discrimination,
Mhm.
sexism, misogyny. Let's call it for what it is. It's real and it persists.
Hmm.
And it persists in the form of neglect for those things that we know that we should be attentive to. Madam Chair, you've been kind to lead us tonight. Uh, Dr. Davis, Professor Earl, we thank you for your leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, one and all, thank you for your presence. I want to give a shout out to Michelle Ree. Ree is in the house. Can't let it go without saying that.
Hey,
Uh,
Uncle, love you and
yeah,
Miss Karen
yeah,
too,
yeah.
baby.
That's 2015 talking. That's the home care workers talking.
Yes,
That's the
ma'am.
Amen.
home care workers
Hey,
talking. So
We
we
love
love all
her.
that.
Yes.
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Let's do what we need to
Wonderful.
do. All
Miss
right.
Joan, I love you.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
Rita,
good
how
for
can
right
we
now.
Good to see you.
get access to the chat contact information?
Uh, whose contact information?
In the
Riri.
chat. I can't save it all right now. I need it though.
For
For Genesee?
Genesee.
We'll send
Yeah,
it all to Ria.
every
We'll send the briefing, everything,
Mhm.
and get so everybody can have all of our information.
Sure.
right. Yeah,
And we'll,
as well as the others in the chat too.
Ms.
yeah,
Amani,
Wendy,
we're glad to see you again too. Yeah, thank you for being here.
Tell you guys thank you. I am in the Antelope Valley and I'm new to all of this, but I'm a product of, being domestic violence, becoming homeless with my kids, three of us,
Hmm.
4 months homeless, trying to get it back together. And now I have a nonprofit to give back to the women who are doing the same thing out here
mhm.
because the organizations that are out here aren't really doing the work. And if I can do it, then I can show other people. I just need the backing to get it done because it really isn't that difficult, but they make it seem like it's this big deal. And if they were to just put all the resources the way that they're supposed to be done, like you guys do, it really would not be that big of a problem that we have here. So if I'm sorry if I'm super excited that Wendy called me, that you guys are on here right now. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so glad for the work that you do, Genesee. It's that's exactly what should be done. And
Yeah,
if I could pick your brain on how to get it done here, we could actually help some more people. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We're
Candace.
partners. We'll do what
Thank
you
you.
need.
Brad, can I say a word? Hi, Karen. This is Joan.
Absolutely, Miss Joan.
I remember Genesee being on Broadway.
Good,
I
Joan
remember all
Career.
those. Yes, ma'am. I remember you guys being on Broadway, what a mess it was, all those clothes all over the place. And as one who evaluated on behalf of the supervisor many nonprofits, not just non-profits, not just domestic violence, you are by far the best. I'm
Hmm.
proud that you've been able to sustain the work that's been so important and that you've always been responsive to us when we had women who needed
shelter right away. And I'm so proud to have to know you and to have worked with you. And thank you very much. I'm in awe. I
Excellent.
remember Broadway.
Hello.
Thank you,
Oh,
Karen.
thank you, Joan Crew. My sister, I didn't know it was you. I love you. Okay,
Wonderful.
we have to go now.
Thank you so much. Yeah. We
Thank
got
you,
we got
guys.
triple benedictions this evening.
Yeah, a lot
Thank
going
you.
on this call tonight. All
Thank you
right.
again.
Thank you so much.
Good
Thank you
night,
so
all.
much.
Good
Good
night,
night.
Thank you.
everyone.
Good job.
Bye.
Yeah, excellent.